Hello and welcome to Hobby Vlog number 134. Now this was always going to be a short vlog because I'm recording this on Thursday because tomorrow I go away for the weekend. We're looking forward to it, so I want to get this uploaded and ready for publishing on Sunday because I won't be back in time to edit and upload and what have you. I'll be returning late Sunday night. But on top of that, the whole family have been once again sick pretty much since I recorded and uploaded on Sunday until pretty much yesterday, and I'm still not feeling well, as you can hear. We've all been pretty sick. And I've done basically nothing. I did no painting even for days, which is just so unlike me that it's been a very, very odd week. But I have managed to do a little bit, so there is still some stuff to add and to show you on this vlog. Something quite nice I've done for Angela, finally getting close to finish, which is good. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching. I'd say it's going to be a short one, so enjoy that if you like that. And yeah, I'll see you again at the end. And I almost forgot, don't forget to leave a comment. I do love to read them and I do reply to them all. So thanks for watching. Well, this is the back of the library, and the next step is to stick the back wall on. Now, as I said, I'm going to need to use this to straighten up the slightly leaning in side wall, but I've just been looking at this, and I think the best way to do this is going to be to glue the back first. So stick this in place and just kind of hold it there, and then when this is secure, what I'll do is I'll come along with some tape and I will very, very strongly tape around the corner to keep it secure and to hold it in place, and that's my plan. So hopefully it'll work. So again, I've got the Super Strong, and again I'm going to run a small bead of this along the bottom, which you'll see shortly as I come into view, and then press that in place, and then I will put some 90 degrees to hold it upright and then leave it. It does actually go off quite quickly, so there is a good chance I'll be able to come to this today and do the next step. I'm making good progress on this now. Obviously the books are going to take quite some time. But getting this done is a real bonus. So we'll line this up nicely like that. As we say, we'll have to move or push the side out slightly and then press that in. Make sure it's lined up. There we are. Make sure it's lined up nicely, and we're in. So, as always, you want to get good pressure on this to get it to go. And there's only one little bit of seep, which is good, right at this end. So I just clean that up. Right, leave that to go off, and then what I'll do is when that's completely secure, I'll come along and put some tape down there, and that will hold that corner. Now, I'm not going to put the other end on, which has the door, because I need to do the door, so that's going to be the next thing to do. So I'll get this squared away and probably start looking at the door, and then wrap that with the tape once it's finished going off. So yeah, cracking on. This has now been done, 2 coats. So I did a coat of the watered down PVA over the top last night before I went to bed, and it's all dried by this morning. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to make 2 different grades of sand. So first of all, we've got the path, and what I've got here is my sifted in the smallest sieve I use, so it's very fine, and that's really good for that kind of thing. And what I've got here is my largest stones, which I sift out as well. You can see they're quite big, and I'm going to use those just to do a couple of little bits and pieces on the banks. So just a couple of bits and pieces here, and potentially also put some here and here where maybe we can see that they've been clearing or whatever. So same technique. I'm going to do the small sand first because I'm going to want to empty that off. So just get a brush and paint that on, and then scatter on your sand. It's the technique that I used before. And when that's done, what I'll do then is I will actually use some non-watered down PVA and put in place the stones on the river, leave that to go off, and then again I will seal with this glue over the top of both. Now very soon I'm going to be looking to cut out this off the rest, and then I can do the rest of the bank, because as you can tell, I'm kind of really starting to need to have textured the bank before I do very much in terms of actually putting texture and finishing off. So I kind of need to cut this out, and then I'll look to clamp it down again and keep working. So yeah, so I'm going to shake that off and put that into the bucket now. So let's see how well this works. Pretty well. There's still some other bigger bits loose, but not much. And now what we'll do is we'll get the not watered down PVA and put some there, for example. There we are, that's a good place for some. And let's have another bit here. There we are. I might do a few more than that, but that's good for this side in shot. And then just pick up some stones and drop them in place into the PVA, otherwise they won't stick. But like I say, I'm going to come over the top of this anyway and seal it in with more watered down PVA. So if they don't all go into the glue now, it doesn't really matter. You can even, if in this case, like I've done it quite bad, which is quite nice, you can even come along and just drop watered down PVA on top just to give it a bit of a grab. But we will reseal this over the top again once it's all finished going off. So there we are, that's the last of the texturing for now. I'm going to do this on the other side and then let that dry, and I'll bring you back for the next step shortly. Well, I've been ill for days, so I've not touched this for days, and I'm still ill, as you can probably hear, but I'm getting better. So I'm going to try and do a little bit more. As you can see, I didn't get to do the taping. I did the gluing and then basically went to bed, and I've been in bed pretty much ever since. It's done really well. It's matched up pretty nicely. On the inside particularly, it looks good, which is what matters. What I can now do is get some of this, which is gaffer tape, or whatever you want to call it. I call it gaffer tape, and tape down here, and then use it to really close up that final gap. So this will be a bit noisy, so I'll put some music on or skip while I do the tearing. Well, there we are. So you can see that I've got that now pressed nice and tightly on the back. And what I can do now, hopefully, kind of a little bit difficult to juggle everything. Hopefully it won't move. I can pull this round, and this will close this corner off and hold it all in place. And there we are. Fantastic. So that's done. So I'm really pleased with that. So that's all I'm going to do on that for now. Got a few more bits and pieces to get planned before I do the next steps on this build. But yeah, I think my strategy, my idea at least, looks like it's going to work. So it's really satisfying. For this, the next thing I need to do is a bit of painting. So I've got my brown, of which I actually have far less paint left than I realised, which is a bit of a pain. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint this over basically most, but not all, of what I've done in the gravel. This is a good starter for 10, and as you can see, I'm still not cutting this out because this is probably the last time I'll be doing something which has a chance of causing major warping. So yeah, I just need to keep that in mind. I really don't want to warp. So yeah, so I'll basically paint the whole of this with the brown, and then once I've done this, I'll probably do the cutting out and then the next steps. But yeah, this is good. Good to be back making a bit of progress, as I've been sick for a few days and haven't been doing anything but sleeping, which is rubbish. I'm not very good at being sick. So yeah, I'll get this all painted up in this nice chocolate brown, and then bring you back when I come to the next step. I do think that will be the cutting out. Changed my mind while I was asleep and recovering. Decided to do this before doing the cutting out. So yeah, I'll get that finished and bring you back for the next step when I get to it. So next up, we're going to make some doors for entry into this library. The dimensions I've got are 13.5 centimetres by 10. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it out of 2 bits of balsa wood
They're both slightly tall. They're 17 near enough, 17 long, which is too much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut them both to the 13.5 width height that I need, and then split 5 centimeters wide for each. So I'll end up with 2 panels, 1 for each door. So that's the first one marked up. As always with balsa wood, multiple shallow cuts, and really I should be using my safety ruler for this. I will grab that because, as you saw, it's very easy to slide off. So there's my safety ruler. Keep my fingers a bit safer. But yeah, multiple shallow pulls over. Not trying to cut it all as one, otherwise you'll end up with a not smooth edge. There we are. That's a nice cut. So as I said on this, what we'll do is we'll mark it 5 centimeters wide, and then I will do exactly the same thing for the other sheet. Get that cut, and then I'll bring you back when I've got 2 of the same dimensions that will be ready for the next step. Now, when you're cutting with the grain, the previous cut was across the grain, when you're cutting with the grain, you need to be even a little bit more careful, because you can very, very easily cut too fast and split and damage. So while it might seem counterintuitive that with the grain is more difficult, it actually really is. You just need to be very gentle. You're not looking at cutting in one go. You will end up with not a smooth cut. Even if you manage to cut with one go once, you won't always be able to, and quite often you'll damage it. So it's worth taking your time. So there we are. So we've got one side of the door. You can see that fits in quite nicely. So what I'll do now is I'll do the same with the other one, bring you back very shortly for the next step. So I don't know whether I played you the last clip or not, but yeah, I didn't turn the microphone on. So anyway, here we are. It's all glued down. I'm waiting in place. I'm going to stain it once it's dry. That's basically the highlights of what I spoke about while I was doing it, but you saw I put way too much glue on, so I had to scrape it off. The reason why I've done it this way is because it warps so much. If I were to stain it, it would be really difficult for me to prevent it from warping, and then it would be really difficult for me to glue down. So yeah, so I'm going to let it dry, then stain, and then put on the metal work. So anyway, there we are. Yeah, I'm still not feeling well, which is why I forgot to turn the microphone on. I really do hate being sick, and I'm going to do a very, very small craft that's going to be done literally in one clip. So we have stones on the land, and I love collecting them, and Rosie does as well. And this is one that I picked up just now, which, as you can see, joins together. It's split in half. It was on our drive and was driven over and broken. And it's just so pretty. I really, really like it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to base it. I'm going to put it on a base. And I'm going to put it on this, which is a offcut of tile. We actually use this tile in the kitchen. So 2 things are going to be done. First of all, I'm going to put some feet onto the bottom of this. So just going to use a dab of super glue to make sure that the built-in adhesion actually works, like that. So we'll just take that and stick a foot in each corner. There we are. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick it on split like that. And you guessed it, for that I'm going to use my favourite moment glue and just put a blob on the bottom of each one and press it in place. And my microcraft, done in less than 2 minutes, will be finished. And the battery is running out on the camera, so hopefully I'll get this done before the battery runs out. So there we are, that's it. So you can always see beautiful things in nature, and we can use our skills to do more than just creating terrain. How about that? Done. So against all the odds, I've managed to get this painted up. And what I'm now coming to is the final few touches. So I wasn't sure how I was going to base it. I had a couple of ideas, and then I suddenly thought these boards that I bought a while back, they're going to be perfect. So I'm actually going to position it so there's space for Angela to put things on the front if she wants to. So I'm just going to glue those two down into that position there. But the first thing I'm going to do is I've cut out some mounting board, some mounting card here, and I asked Angela for what her favourite paintings were that she'd done. She sent me 3, and so I printed them out to fit, and this is the one that's most striking enough at this small scale. So I'm going to stick this to the board. The board then we'll be able to slot in. I'll just move the picture out of the way. We'll slot in, and that will not be glued in place, and that means that we'll be able to swap that out if we want to as well, which is quite a nice little touch, I think. So yeah, pretty close to finishing this, which is good because go away for the weekend, and I really wanted to get this done actually for the beginning of the week. This week Angela had her first ever art exhibition, which went very, very well, and I really wanted to give this to her on that day. But with being sick, sadly, it didn't get done. I was just relieved to be able to go to the exhibition, because for a while I was thinking none of us would be going. So yeah, so what I'm going to do is a little bit of PVA, very, very little bit of PVA, and then put weight on top of it to dry, and then I'll glue everything in place, and then we'll wrap this up, and I will give this to Angela, and hopefully she likes it. She has no idea I'm doing anything for her. So yes, it will be a total surprise, which is something I would like doing as well. So yeah, a little smear of PVA on the brush, smear that on the paper, watch as it immediately warps, curls up, and just carefully press it in place, and then I'll weight it down just with some little bits of metal like that, some of my 90 degrees. So yeah, I will get that glued in together, and then bring it back for the final done bit very shortly. And there it is, done. Now Angela's about to go to our art room to do some arting, so I'm going to go and sneak this in there, hopefully before she comes up. And yeah, I hope she likes it. But I'm really pleased. Just a lovely little vignette. Very happy I decided to use that wooden board. She can put some stuff around the front, use it for whatever she wants to do. Maybe she can give me some more paintings, and I'll come paint them paste them to the floor, whatever. But yeah, it's going to be a really lovely little thing for her to have, and I'm really pleased with it. Very happy that I saw this sculpt and just pulled the trigger, bought it, printed it, painted it in very quick order. What with being sick for days, and yeah, I wanted it done earlier, as I said. But yeah, that's it done now. Gonna go give it to her. I will report back whether she likes it or not. And against all the odds, I've managed to get this done in time. The last day we're going to be able to post these is tomorrow. And yeah, I've managed to finish. I'm very, very pleased. Took a fair bit of effort, what with being sick, so I have missed 6 days of painting that I had. So basically, yesterday evening and this morning and this evening, I've put about 3 hours in total just to wrap them all up. I've not finished basing, but I think I should be able to get away with that for the pictures. If I can't, then I'll base tonight, and I will photograph tomorrow and post at the last possible second. But I'm going to go and see if I can get some good pictures pre-basing. If not, then I will use some quick basing, base ready stuff from Luke at Geek Gaming, and that will dry overnight, and then I can take the pictures in the morning. But yeah, it's been really good fun, really nice working with a little bit of a different colour palette than I normally would, with the reds and the blues, obviously Aston Villa, and they've not been easy to paint. I think if you're a very good painter, you could do something fantastic with these models. They're so detailed, but me not being a good painter, those details just become difficult, awkward nooks and crannies that are annoying and you can't get paint into. But yeah, if you're a good painter, I would highly recommend downloading and printing these. You will have a lot of fun with them. Anyway, let's have a look at the pictures, see if we get some pictures, have a look at what they are, and then maybe I'll base tonight.
Well, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. It was a bit shorter, obviously, because this is a shorter week. It's Thursday now as I record this. So tomorrow I'll be heading off to see my friend. I'm really looking forward to that. We'll probably be taking the camera. So what happens over the weekend, if I get any footage, will be in next week's vlog. But this Thursday night, vlog done. It's been an odd week. I started off so sick and now I'm feeling so much better, as you can see. I've got quite a lot done. There is some stuff that I've finished this week that I've not managed to get video of. I managed to finish the Paint All the Minis challenge and I have taken the pictures to submit because that also needs to be done for tomorrow, but I didn't have time to do the clip, so I'll put that in next week's. And the other thing I wanted to say is yesterday Rosie demanded, and I mean demanded, to play with the model railway. I told her I thought that it probably wouldn't work, so I've not cleaned the tracks, and she was insistent, and we put the train on and it went round and she was dancing and cheering and it was wonderful and put a big smile on my face. So yeah, odd week. Beginning in bed, not moving, not doing any hobby for days, to feeling really positive and energised again, so thank goodness for that. So let me know in the comments below if you enjoyed this video. If you have anything to say, I love reading them and I will reply. I really appreciate you watching, particularly if you made it this far. And I'll wrap up by saying thoughts go out to anyone who is impacted directly or indirectly by the horrors in Ukraine. Yeah, what a thing. And as always, I say this and then I got sick last week, really sick. Please do stay healthy, stay safe and stay well.